this is Sid. I'm the gal behind Lucky Lady Quilt Co. And this week we will be turning this quilt block into a linen sundress. I had initially planned to make a ton of these quilt blocks as framed wall art for an upcoming market, but I'm obsessed with them and I just love making all things quilted clothing, so we're turning it into a dress. First things first, I will be cutting out the shapes and getting all the quilt blocks in order. I think I'm gonna have to make at least 10, so I'll get started on that. And I'm going to be timing myself from start to finish. I've never timed myself before, which I have already regretted not doing just for the purpose of like pricing my handmade items, so I need to get in the habit of it. But I thought it would be a fun topic for this video to see how long it takes me to make a quilted clothing item. So let's get started. Finally finished all of the quilt blocks and I ended up only making oh my god, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So I have 10 quilt blocks, and the amount of time it took me to make these is kind of mind-blowing. I never realized how much time it actually took because I'm always just kind of lost in a TV show or doing something that makes the time go by so fast. So anywho, now that I have the quilt blocks, I can finally put them together to make the dress. And I was initially planning to make like a low back, like midi length dress that tied at the waist, but I think with this pattern, I'm last minute switching things up and I'm gonna go for a dress that's sleeveless, high collar, basically this, just little thicker sleeves, and then maybe like right above my knees. That's kind of like one of those little tent A-frame dresses, if that makes sense. So the plan thus far is to lay it out. So envision the collar is right here with the straps. I'm just gonna do one star block on the chest and then 2 on the waist, and I think I'm gonna make it so they're squished together as opposed to spread out. I'm kind of just, I don't know. Yeah, I think to have less seams on the dress, I'm just gonna block them together, and then I'll do 3 on the bottom. So this is, I don't know if you can get like a good look at this, but anywho, this is the plan. I'll show you a different view, but it's gonna be really bright. But yeah, I'm excited. So now, now that I have everything ready, I'm going to, I already have the pattern, so I'm just gonna start cutting the lining and sewing the blocks together. And yeah, we're almost there. I feel like we're in the home run. So hopefully this is a bit faster than the amount of time I spent cutting these out. So to be continued. So new day, I was able to finally cut out the front piece of the dress, and this is what it looks like thus far. I initially thought I would be a bit more stoked about it, but now I'm a little nervous how it's gonna turn out. But it was pretty easy to put this part together. I just added additional linen straps to the quilt blocks, and then I ended up just sewing 3 rows together. So it's gonna look like this on the back as well. But yeah, I feel like from here it's smooth sailing. I just need to do this to the back, and then I have the interfacing that I'm gonna attach. So hopefully that goes well, but I need to find a way to like stabilize all of these seams, so when the dress is being worn, they're not like, there's no pressure being put on them. So I need to figure out how to do that. It looks kind of fun on the back though, but I'm about to hide it forever, so no one's gonna see it. But yeah, so I just need to do the back and then sew everything together, and then it's done.
From there. I mean, there's several layers of that, but yeah, as I say, I don't think it's a high risk area that they need to. That would then continue. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, well, in practice, you obviously put it into the wall with Sandoval front end in. So to come back with a podium, such a good team effort, and for this to be a bad weekend for you and still be on the podium, I think you.
Okay, so I finally have a mic in hopes that my audio sounds better. And since it's nice weather, I finally get to be outside, hang out with the chickens, who I'll keep an eye on behind me. But okay, so I finally finished this dress, and this is the first time that I actively timed myself every day while I was making it. So let's see, overall, it took me 9 days to make, and this was just doing like 1 to 3 hours of sewing every day. And so okay, so these are all of my notes, and I will add them on the screen, so here they are. But so day 1 through 3, I was pretty much cutting out each individual triangle for the individual quilt blocks, and all in all, I ended up making 12 quilt blocks, but I did have some leftover triangles, so I'm gonna make, I guess, more wall art with the leftovers. But to make all 12 quilt blocks, it took me 10 hours, which is wild. So I always will like watch a show or watch YouTube, or I don't know, have something on the TV while I'm sewing, and the time goes by so fast. So I didn't actually think that it took me 10 hours to make just 12 quilt blocks. So that definitely took up the most time. Let's see here. So day 4, 5, and 6, I spent sewing together. So I had the quilt blocks, and then I had to sew them, and I already showed you a bit of this, but taking everything together and then cutting out the front and back pieces took 6 hours. And that one I'm not as surprised about. I think that's like average. Okay, so day 7, 8, and 9, I added the interfacing to the front and back, and then I serged both pieces. I also added pockets. So this is what they look like inside out. I feel like if I ever make a dress without pockets, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm never gonna do that. So I'm always gonna make dresses with pockets. And then I ended up making my own bias tape. So then I did the bias tape for the armholes and the neck hole, and added the pockets. So that for the last 3 days took 4 hours. Yeah. This was the timer that I used. It was pretty handy. It didn't really track my progress, so I had to write it down every day. But yeah, overall, it took me 1,239 minutes to make this dress, and that's roughly almost 21 hours. So definitely a labor of love. 21 hours, that's crazy. Although I think for my next dress, this one kind of gives me like bag lady vibes in like the nicest way, but it's definitely like a very simple shape. I think the next one I want to do more of like a low back, more of like a one size fits all kind of thing, where you don't have to adjust like the neck hole sizes or anything like that. So I know it'll change in the future. The other really embarrassing thing that I did is, I don't know if you can see it, but I installed the pockets backwards. So this should be facing this way, but instead I have it pointed toward the back. So that's embarrassing. I about died when I noticed that, but yeah, I think it's fine. I'm still gonna wear it, but yeah, I think for pricing in the future, I'll definitely take into account like the actual time it takes for me to make each piece plus the material. But yeah, hopefully I won't ever go over 21 hours to make a piece. I hope that's like the max amount of time. But yeah, I'll definitely have to time myself when I do like the vests and the coats. But now that it is warm weather, I'm planning to make more dresses, so stay tuned. And thank you so much for tuning in to Lucky Lady Quilt Co. Bye!